Coming up, this government withdraws controversial LI, which would have allowed MPs, ministers and judges drive without speed limit and install sirens after days of intense public backlash.
Amendment Regulation 2024, which was laid on the Friday, 14 June 2024, be withdrawn.
We have details, but is it true that a Speaker of Parliament did not know about this LI as he claimed? We'll fact check that for you.
There is nothing like that before Parliament. There is nothing like that before Parliament.
And also, as fuel prices climb above 15 cedis again, the minority in Parliament are calling on Vice President Bawumia to focus on fixing the economy and stop calling for debates. And Upper West Regional Coordinating Council offers 100,000 cedis reward for anyone with information that leads to the arrest of killers of a driver's mate in Dobili in the Upper West region. Now, after days of intense public backlash and criticism, the people power has prevailed, and a controversial legislative instrument which would have allowed MPs, ministers and judges to drive without speed limits and install sirens has been withdrawn by government. The justification offered for the LI was that these public officials should not be caught in traffic in the performance of their official duties. But a section of the public rejected the regulation as self-seeking. There's more in the following report.
The controversial legislative instrument that would have allowed members of parliament, ministers to fix sirens on their cars and drive without speed limits would have matured into law on Friday. But the public has made their voice known, and it appears the government has listened. With less than 3 days for that LI to mature into law, it has been withdrawn on government's behalf by the local government minister, Martin J. Mensah Kosa.
Mr. Speaker, I write to move that the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024, which was laid on the Friday, 14 June 2024, be withdrawn. Mr. Speaker, this has become necessary based on extensive engagement with leadership. It is so withdrawn, Mr. Speaker.
Regulation 2024 is hereby withdrawn.
The minority now say a lot more LIs that have been laid in the House, including that one that is seeking to regulate the prices of cement, must also now be withdrawn. According to Governor Kwame Agboja, that is also unpopular, and the people have spoken against it.
I don't think you knew this is not what we decided. It was the comment. I cannot repeat the comment that was made at Conclave. So, Mr. Speaker, they have decided that an issue of national interest is not good looking on Parliament, especially government, and they have decided to withdraw it. Mr. Speaker, we have no business talking about it, but I can just remind them there are other LIs that have been laid that the public is still not happy about. I will encourage them to withdraw those ones as well. Mr. Speaker, whilst the Minister of Trade is here, the LI that he laid on cement is also not, the public is not happy. We also come and withdraw yours as well. Come and withdraw the cement LI as well. Come and withdraw the cement LI as well.
And also, no speed limit. I mean, this social media thing, there is nothing like that before Parliament. There is nothing like that before Parliament. And so I thought maybe something was being done behind my listen. So I started calling all over, and all my directors said no, they have not seen anything like that. I have the responsibility of admitting many of these things. Sometimes they may elude me, but I haven't seen any sign.
That was false, because on the day that LI was laid, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin himself, was in the chair, as our checks now indicate. Watch proceedings from 14 June when Alban Bagbin was presiding over the House when that LI was laid.
So the Minister for Roads, Minister for Transport is called upon to lay that instrument. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, they were consulting and we wanted to wait for them to come. And so, please, let the magistrate, please, let's engage him.
I'm just told by the chairman of the committee that the concerns they raised have been addressed, so we can lay. We just hope that it doesn't become another controversy that, oh, we've laid it and public says who did it, we don't know about it. So, Mr. Speaker, once the chairman has confirmed that it's been addressed, we have no objection to we can lay it.
Show me the provisions that we ask should be inserted. So, Mr. Speaker, it can be late. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on Order 64.
Order what?
64. That we do not have the.
Okay, we take note of it.
We do not have the.
I've taken note of it. I know the contents and I know the procedure.
I wish you direct the bell is rung. But that's what the standing orders say. And I'm happy you have taken note. So if you could ask them to ring the bell. So
yes, the writing will be done.
Yes, Speaker.
Don't detail it for me. I know it.
Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, it's 1 minute.
You have my word.
1 minute past 2.
Yes. So please, can you present the instrument? Table office, kindly do the writing. Let the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Road Traffic Amendment Regulations 2024.
Honourable members, the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024 is accordingly laid and referred to the Subsidiary Legislation Committee for consideration and report to the House. The Committee on Transport could support the Committee of Subsidiary Legislation with whatever material they have in order to enrich the report that will be submitted to the House.
The public has now spoken in unison and government has listened. And the public says they will continue to make their voices heard whenever issues come up to Parliament and they are in opposition. It is now the responsibility of government and Parliament to listen to the people, to consult and make sure that the business they transact here on their behalf really sits in their interest. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, let's just stay in Parliament because intense disagreement among NDC MPs was on full display in the open over the controversial lithium mining agreement. Now, the minority had on 2 occasions blocked the laying of the agreement, but the agreement was successfully laid by government today. But the minority side had their differences displayed in the open. Listen to Minority Chief Whip Kwame Govins Agboja, urging the second Deputy Speaker not to refer the matter to the Mines and Energy Committee, a committee which had John Jinapor as ranking at the time.
Concerns about mining in forests, on water bodies and other things, just because they want it to be passed. Mr. Speaker, there's nothing in our standing order today that will stop us from allowing them to lay. But be assured, you will not be allowed to cajole anybody to lay a lithium agreement for anyone to go and mine in a reserve forest. Even if it will give us 10 trillion, we don't care. You'll be forced to do the right thing and make sure the environment is protected, not for you and I only, but for the future generations yet unborn. So we are not going to stand in your way of laying it, but the committee that this will be referred to. And Mr. Speaker, we are just about to approve the new committees under the new standing order. People have been attempting for this to be referred to a joint committee. Today, we are encouraging you to refer this to only the Committee of Lands, yes, and Natural Resources. This idea, yes, because this idea of this joint committee creates a problem. Mining has nothing to do with energy. Mining is a land and natural resource matter. So, Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that we will complete the setting up of the committees today before we make the referral. Those who are pushing for this to be laid ahead of time should know this will not be referred to Mines and Energy and Lands Committee. It must necessarily go to the Lands and Natural Resource Committee only. And we shall follow up to make sure that the right thing is done for this country. No one is allowed to mine, and then when we do this, and then the people are crying their communities, the Parliament absolves itself. It is our responsibility to approve the agreement and do the oversight of this, Mr. Speaker. Those are the only things I have to say before you go ahead.
Now let's take it to Parliament now for more. Kweku Asante is a man there for us. Kweku, what are we learning as some of the reasons why he didn't want the agreement to go to the Mines and Energy Committee, and how did John Jinapor respond?
Mines and Energy Committee then used to be ranked by the member for Yape Kosoku, John Jinapor. And we know John Jinapor is a blood brother of the Mines and Energy, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. So we understand there are concerns that there may be conflict of interest issues, for which reason Governor Kwame Agbodza and the minority leadership that he led did not want this referral to be made. And you would hear a lot of noises in there when Kwame Agbodza was making this point, because members of his own side were up on their feet at his back, opposing what he was saying. Edward Bauer, for instance, the member of the Mines and Energy Committee, insisted that this report should go to the Mines and Energy Committee. But John Jinapor spoke in his own defense and said he felt hurt by the comments that had been made by his own chief whip.
I do admit that there's a new standing order. And I do admit that there's been a transition. I am not challenging the chief whip of the minority side, and I dare not challenge him. In fact, if I have issues, I will discuss it with him personally so that we resolve this matter. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, nobody is rushing for any referral to be made to a committee. I'm sure that, Mr. Speaker, you are competent enough to determine that based on the gravamen of the subject matter, you want one committee, two committees, or leadership of a certain committee to join another committee. And that has always been our practice. But to rise up and say that under no circumstances will you go to this committee, under no circumstances will you go to the other committee, I think it's premature. It's premature. So I would plead with the minority chief whip. If he wants the new committees to be constituted, let's do that. It is in your court. If you constitute new committees, wherever you take us, we will serve there and work for you. But such comments, I will plead with him. You should hold it, because as Mines and Energy ranking, when you refer to my committee and you make such a statement, it really hurts a little. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kweku, how did the second deputy speaker, who was presiding, rule on this matter?
The second deputy speaker, Andrew Amakwa-Esiam, at the time, did not listen to the chief whip of the minority. He did refer this committee, this mining agreement, to both the Mines and Energy Committee as well as the Lands and Natural Resources Committee. So this was to be a joint committee that was supposed to go into the merits of the agreement and recommend to Parliament whether or not they should approve it. But the substantive speaker himself, Alban Bagbin, took the chair later on and reversed this upon the request of Alhassan Suhuyini, who is now the ranking member on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee. Alban Bagbin said this is an important matter. He wants MPs to do a thorough job on this. He says the notice to government is that Parliament will not hesitate to reject any such agreement if it is not in the best interest of the Republic. And so the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources alone should go and do this job. And the leadership of Parliament on both sides should join them.
Okay, grateful to you, Kweku, for the information there. Now, the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council has announced 100,000 cedis bounty on the head of killers of a driver's mate in Dobele in Owa. The middle-aged man who was reported, to have been gruesomely murdered behind a trailer truck on Monday, leaving residents in fear. This brings to 17 the total number of mysterious killings recorded in the Owa municipality or area in the last 3 years. Speaking to Joe News, the Upper West Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, first reviewed preliminary investigation is pointing to ritual motives behind the killings. He spoke on the AM show.
Well, it seems to us that it is now not the body part, but it's probably the human blood, because the experts are telling us that looking at the blood that usually flows, the quantity that usually pours is not enough, and therefore these people are probably collecting the blood, and probably that is why the slaughter. So this is what the experts are telling us, and of course we don't know why they are collecting the blood for. So this is what the experts are telling us.
But does this feed into the theory of this being a potential ritual killing then?
Well, that is how it seems. Because why would somebody go and slaughter someone if it's not ritual killing? I mean, so that is the trend.
Mr. Yakubu, so have you heard word from the family of this man, Mr. Opoku, yet? And what are they saying?
Well, you know, this individual is not from this region. And we have, Ghana Police Service have actually contacted the family. My understanding is that they are going somewhere there. So they are trying to do so. But here, the person doesn't come from here.
Now, Mr. Stephen Yakubu also indicated that a 100,000 cedis bounty has been placed on the head of the perpetrators, calling on residents to volunteer information to help the police in their investigation.
As I said, yesterday, we went to the scene and we just appealing that, definitely someone saw someone moving, around the area, any noise, anything. People should just try to tell. Because I think that if people are ready to talk, we will probably be able to unravel it. It's just people, because these very people live with us. And they live with us. They have wives, they have husbands, they have, they have siblings, they have fathers, So, I mean, if you see your husband, your brother, or acting suspiciously, bringing something at home, and you should be able to give information. You should be able to tell us, because no one is safe. We are wondering why people are not coming out, maybe because of fear, maybe because we have even put 100,000 on, anyone who can give us information that will lead to the arrest of some of these people. But as I said, it is just people telling us, informing the security services what they have seen that they are not comfortable with. And I'm very sure that if people start talking, we should be able to unravel this in a very short time.
Well, let's still stay in Wa, because the Wa High Court will continue the trial of prime suspect Eliasa Mahama and two others on the alleged involvement of the killing of the CEO of Jarapa Dubai, Eric Johnson. Now, hearing at the court was kept on a hiatus following an order from the Chief Justice, Justice Araba Tokonu, transferring the case out of the Wa High Court to a high court in Kumasi. This fiat by the Chief Justice angered the people of the Upper West region, especially Jarapa, resulting in protest and demonstrations. The supervising Wa High Court Judge, Justice Yusuf Asibe, announced to the court that the Chief Justice has asked that the case continues at the Wa High Court. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Tokonu, in a letter addressed to the court, ordered for the transfer of the case from the Wa High Court to a high court in Kumasi, following a petition from the mother of the first accused, Eliasa Afinite Mahama. That fiat by the Chief Justice infuriated and angered the people of the Upper West region, especially close family members and friends. The Wa High Court was on the verge of starting the trial when the order from the Chief Justice came in. The supervising Wa High Court judge, Justice Yusuf Asibe, therefore kept the trial on hiatus to enable him verify from the Chief Justice the authenticity or otherwise of the letter. Justice Yusuf Asibe announced to the court that the Chief Justice has rescinded her decision and asked that the case be continued at the Wa High Court. Principal State Attorney, Lawyer Said Abdul Shakur, was grateful to the Chief Justice for the latest order.
It's not about emotions, excitement, or anything. It's about the justice of the case. What it is that I indicated earlier that most of the witnesses are resident in Wa, and that we have had cases that, very tough cases in Wa, that emotions were so high. Yet we tried it, and the Chief Justice has just done what is very good for even the image of the judiciary and for us, because the impression that was out there was that there was an attempt to, as it were, truncate the justice processes. So now the message is sent clearly to everybody who is prepared to listen, but there's no attempt whatsoever to truncate these, and that justice will be served, and that we believe in the power of this state's cases.
In court for the first time was 84-year-old biological father of the slain owner of Yoruba Dubai, Gerald Jimena. He was happy with the decision of the Chief Justice for the case to be tried in Wa.
I'm happy because it's here the case happened. You see, it was here the case happened.
Yeah.
And well, I'm happy about it because it is here. So we finish and I'll do what is here. You see, yeah.
Okay. You have a lot of memories about Eric, your son. How do you feel?
Oh, in fact, what am I going to say? I think very simple. I can't explain how I'm.
Some other natives of Yoruba also share their thoughts on the issue.
And all that. I think that here we can be rest assured of fair trial. We can be rest assured of a judicial and a expeditious, trial of the case. So there's not going to be any fear anymore. I think that the Chief Justice has done well. We congratulate her on that, and then we congratulate the Jirapa community and the Upper West community at large for standing behind this. Going forward, we'll encourage more people to always appear in their numbers and be able to give them support so that our late brother Eric Johnson will get a fair trial and justice served.
The case has been adjourned to Thursday, July 18, where they will start with a case management conference. Reporting for Dway News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
You think that you are guilty? You think that you are guilty? You think that you are guilty?
Well, let's take you to Kenya now, because a Kenyan journalist, Wanjiru Kariuki, has been allegedly shot Tuesday afternoon by the police while covering anti-government protest in Nakuru, Kenya's third largest city. Kariuki, who works for Kameme TV, was allegedly shot in the thigh outside a local bank. She is currently receiving treatment at Valley Hospital. Videos from our sources indicate that scores of protesters have also sustained varying degrees of injuries in this latest protest. Police have not released any statement on the shootings yet. The protests taking place across Kenya are led by Gen Zs and millennials demanding accountability from government, including an end to police killings and poor governance. President Ruto recently dissolved his cabinet over the demand of the Gen Z's protesters. Let's connect now live to Nakuru to speak to Chris Omondi. He is a journalist at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Chris, grateful to you for joining. What do we know about Wanjiru Kariuki's condition now? Well, Chris, kindly unmute so we can follow what you're telling us. Chris, kindly unmute so we can follow what you're telling us. We want to find out from you what we do know about Wanjiru Kariuki's condition as we speak. All right, so we are in Kenya now, where a journalist, Wanjiru Kariuki, has been shot in the thigh whilst covering a protest by Gen Zs and millennials who are demanding accountability from the government. Chris, I'm grateful to you. Chris works with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and he joins us via Zoom now. Chris, so what do we know about her situation as we speak?
Thank you so much. As we speak, the journalist who was allegedly shot she's still receiving treatment at a local hospital in Nakuru. And according to the reports here from the TV station where she works, that is Kameme TV, they think that she was shot 3 times in the thigh, but she's still receiving treatment, though stable. But according to the reports from the TV station where she works, they're saying the injury was severe, and she will still be there for some time undergoing treatment at the local hospital in Nakuru.
Mm. Now, how's the media fraternity reacting to this attack on the media in Kenya?
It is an incident that has been condemned by a number of organizations, starting from the Kenya National Union of Journalists, the Media Council of Kenya, and other stakeholders have really condemned this incident targeting journalists. And you see, if you look at what really happened, is Catherine, who was allegedly shot by the police. I had even the jacket, the media jacket, and she was clearly marked, and that marking was supposed to even identify as one of the journalists who are carrying out this work or covering the protest today. But she still became one of the people who were shot today during the protest that is now going into its 4th week in Kenya. So it's something that has been condemned by media organizations, and even the Kenya National Human Rights organizations have condemned the incident.
We understand that others also suffered varied degrees of gunshot wounds. What do you know so far about the number of persons who suffered gunshot wounds?
What we know so far, and the data we can share, is the one that has been shared by the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. That is a constitutional body in Kenya that is mandated to protecting human rights. And as of today, they were saying that the number of people who have been killed from the protest are up. 51 people have died from the protest since its inception, 4 weeks now. And 59 other people are missing, actually missing, and no whereabouts. The families have been looking for them, announcements done overly again, but 59 people still missing, while 431 people have actually gotten injuries, various degrees of injuries. That number will go up tomorrow, because up to this evening, a number of people again sustained different degrees of injuries. And even today, the number of people who have been killed. From Nairobi, the capital city, at least one person was shot dead during the protest in the neighboring county of Kajiado, some town called Kitengela. Also, one person died. And a number of people were shot today. So the number of 431 is likely to rise even higher tomorrow, because we're going to get new statistics from the police, the statements that will come from the police and the Kenya National Human Rights, and even other organizations which are actually just following up on these demonstrations that have been taking place in Kenya.
Now, we also do know that the President, Ruto, has dissolved his cabinet as part of the demand of these Gen Zs. What more are their demands this time that the demonstration looks like widespread across the country?
The Gen Zs are demanding for good governance. And today, if the clarion call has been Ruto must go. Most of them want the president himself gone, because they're saying that the president probably is part of the entire problem. So they've been demanding a lot of things, but now they're saying that they want good governance, and that good governance, there is nothing, they're taking nothing less of that. So the clarion call today is most of them are saying they want another election so that they can elect other leaders. Remember, in the past, even the Kenyan parliament was invaded by the Gen Zs, and it's something that they are still saying that they want just another election so that they can elect leaders who can take care of their interests. So dissolving the cabinet has not done much to even keep these Gen Zs away from the streets. They're saying that they will still continue fighting for their rights, and they will still continue doing what the Constitution demands of them. And in Kenya, there is that right of peaceful demonstration, which they are saying that they are going to do until they get good governance. So that is what has been here, and it is them saying that they want good governance and they want every person to be accountable, including the president. So if they're feeling like the country is not headed the right way, then that is what they're doing now.
But the government or the president, I mean, dissolved his cabinet. What else has government been saying about these latest demonstrations?
The Gen Zs and the millennials, largely these protesters are youths, and they're saying that dissolving the cabinet is not enough. According to them, they're looking at it like you dissolve the cabinet, but they are still, the parliament is still there, the president is still there.
But I mean, what has government itself been saying in the wake? I mean, the wake of these latest demonstrations?
The president, after dissolving the cabinet yesterday, went out and said that there are external forces behind these demonstrations in Kenya. He actually pointed out to some organization which has its base in the US, but also supports a number of activities in Kenya called the Ford Foundation, which he was saying that is behind these demonstrations. So the president and even the government are now pointing to external forces in the demonstrations in Kenya. So that blame game is what is here. They're saying that they will point out, they will call them out, they have to shape up or ship out. So that is a new development that came up even as it was as early as yesterday. Now those organizations being pointed out, like supporting the demonstrations in Kenya. So according to the Kenyan government, at least we can quote the president, saying that there is external force in these demonstrations that we witnessed in Kenya.
Chris, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Chris Omondi is, a staff of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojobrez. Later at 8 p.m. on Prime Business, Institute of Energy Security calls for the review of taxes and margins on the price build-up of petroleum product to cushion consumers at the pumps.
Call on government to look at the taxes and margins in the price build-up. Some of them have outlived its usefulness. The price stabilization and recovery levy, as the name stated, is supposed to stabilize prices, but we are not seeing any stability of those prices at the pump.
Welcome back from the break. Now, the Executive Secretary of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Ibrahima, is urging media houses to exercise caution regarding unethical statements made by their journalists. He warns that such irresponsible utterances could lead to severe consequences, including the revocation of their broadcasting frequencies. Speaking at a news conference organized by the Ghana Journalists Association, he emphasized the importance of adhering to ethical standards to maintain the integrity and credibility of the media.
Media General, that Onua FM is a part of, is managed by reputable people. We know some of the people on the board of directors of Media General. And so first of all, we are appealing to their conscience. And I know that I'm quite convinced that an action will be taken, because this is something that is just below the belt. And knowing the people that I know on the board and management of Onua FM, I think it would be quite surprising that they allow this to pass without any action. It would be very negligent on our part to look at things that could undermine press freedom and be quiet about it and only speak up when violations occur. So there are laws. I mean, the frequencies that have been given belong to the state. At any point in time, frequencies can be taken back. We do know that not too long ago, some 4 stations were shut down in Boku. Boku is part of Ghana. They are also FM stations. And so when people go overboard, the laws can be applied. You can be taken to court for defamation, and you have to defend yourself. If you go about, you breach the laws outrightly, your frequency can be taken back. And I don't think that we would at any point in time say, oh, anything goes. And so when frequencies are taken back, we say, oh, why are frequencies taken back? When your conduct is dangerous for the state, your conduct undermines our stability, our peace, and our democracy, I don't think that it's something that we would tolerate.
News conference, GJA President Albert Jumfo urged the media to fact-check information before putting them out. He emphasized that accurate reporting is crucial for maintaining public trust and the credibility of journalism.
The GJA, GIBA, Printpack, Media Foundation for West Africa, a new media association, therefore caution all journalists, media practitioners, and media organizations to be cautious of their utterances and reportage on their platform to save the country from slipping onto the path of violence with its attendant consequences. It is important to note that this caution is not a gag on the right to free expression, given that there are decorous means and avenues for journalists and citizens to express their opinions loud and clear. I want to assure you all that we remain resolute in our defense for media freedom, and that requires us to also champion media professionalism. We'll take this opportunity to also caution the media on the need to fact check. Recently, we were embarrassed by the third event emanating from one Chef Smith reportage. We want to take this opportunity to advise on the media that henceforth, apart from corporate bodies, political parties, and identifiable groups, any persons or group of persons that invite the media for a press conference, editors must do well, need to carry out background check to ascertain their veracity before the assessment.
Winner of the Joy News Impact Makers Award in Rural Livelihood Empowerment, Dr. Kwame Sarkwa Edu, says he will dedicate his prize money to further improving rural Ghana. Dr. Sarkwa Edu is topping up his 4,000 cedis cash prize to buy bicycles for 10 pupils in Donko Krom in the Kwahu Afram Plains North District of the Eastern Region of Ghana. He made this revelation when he paid a courtesy call on the Joy Newsroom. There's more in the following report.
The Joy News Impact Maker, Livelihood Empowerment, Dr. Kwame Sarkwa Edu. You guys don't like honey, eh? That's why you're not clapping. If you like honey, clap a little louder.
Awarded at the second edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Award for his dedication to improving rural livelihoods across Ghana and beyond, Dr. Kwame Sarkwa Edu has tirelessly promoted beekeeping as a sustainable income source for rural communities such as Donko Krom in the Kwahu Afram Plains district in the Eastern region. The far-reaching impact he has made with the beekeeping intervention demonstrates the transformative potential of the initiative. Dr. Edu, under his foundation, Bees for Development Ghana, has supported 700 cashew and orange farmers in the Eastern and Bono regions and empowered over 100 women through community support bee projects in Ghana and Liberia. His works also expand to other parts of the country, including the Western North, Northern, and Savannah regions. He explained to Joy News the inspiration behind what he does.
The big project started with honey hunters, like you heard from my bit. They went into the Dija National Park. Dija National Park is bigger than the Kapung National Park. Big forest reserve. They did it to protect the Volta Lake. And they went there in the night, they fell trees and kill bees and harvest honey. That was illegal. They got caught. They were sent to court and fined and imprisoned. So we intervened and just told them, you could do this at your backyard. Keep bees at your backyard and make money.
He also announced plans to top up his cash prize of 4,000 cedis to buy bicycles for children in Donko Krom and surrounding communities in the Eastern region.
Children walk 5 kilometers in, and when they close, so I decided, I started some, maybe 5 years, I'm not sure. I've given 2 tranches of 10 bicycles to those school children in the mood. So this award, I'm going to top it up. A bicycle now costs about 700 cedis or 800, good one. So I'm topping it up. I'm going to buy 10 bicycles to the children in Donko.